A few years back, I created a video showcasing a few terrain tricks that I had picked up. I recommended using roofs and boulders to round out the terrain, and it still works well enough. In fact, it's still mostly the go-to in this game. However, since that video was released, this game has changed quite a bit, especially referring to things they've added, like basic shapes. You see, I come from a game called Sandbox. We do terrain pretty easily over there. Just using simple triangles, you can create rolling land that looks pretty close to realistic, at least as far as a block game can get. The only limitation is how small a triangle you can make, but for the most part that isn't really an issue. It's pretty easy to knock out the entire base in 5 to 10 minutes, so the same application should be in Bloxburg, right? So I've got a house plot here that I threw together for this video just to test my hypothesis. I think I know a way to apply what I've learned from Sandbox over here to make the most realistic terrain possible in this game. So first, I create a few template blocks. The idea here is that we have a few possible sizes, all of which will fit together like a puzzle. And I will very quickly learn that I don't know math, so we're going to be pretty much freehanding this the entire time. I should have confirmed the fits of the triangles before I started, but hindsight's 2020. But the overall idea here is to connect together the triangles in a way that creates slight elevations and drops, all the while avoiding lines and points. And this is easier said than done, especially with the placement grid in this game. To be completely honest, this video started out as a tutorial video, but that dream quickly died. Look, I know this is highly impractical, time-consuming, expensive, and quite frankly frustrating, but there is one nice thing, which I'll get to later. So the goal now is just to see if it's even possible. As you can see, it's incredibly tedious work. So, while technically possible, it's a terrible way to approach this. Your time is better spent elsewhere. One alternative I thought of is maybe using cubes to make more of a smaller voxel slope. That would be better just because you don't have to worry about the gaps or lines or anything else. You can see every line you miss on this terrain, so you can see why it may take a really long time. And honestly, I'm surprised I made it as far as I did. But as I said, there is one saving grace. Copy and paste. Now, if I had set this up right, my idea is you could potentially create sections of these and copy and place them into place, which would cut down the build time significantly. And this is the thing that could be potentially game-changing for me. That is, if I can figure it out. Imagine you copy and pasting a few different template squares and they each line up perfectly and they give the same effect. It'd be a tall order, but hey, anything's possible. Another diamond in the rough here is the option to color each triangle a different color, which, if done right, you could create a small garden in the yard. But to even finish what we started, we're going to need more blocks to help us. For one, I used the small dirt pile. The only bad thing about it is it doesn't sit at the angle of the block you're working on, hardly noticeable in most applications. We're also going to be using planks, which helps speed up the process immensely. So if I were to do this again, I would use larger triangles and utilize the planks as a bridge between two triangles instead of trying to line up just two triangles. Because the planks are already the correct length and lined up, versus hoping the triangle you have is the correct size on one side and trying to work the slope in the direction you want to go. It's a lot of work. Another, admittedly rather small benefit is that you're actually in complete control, preventing clipping through walls and stuff. Though, I believe that issue has largely been fixed in regards to how roofs used to clip through walls. Though even with the planks and the dirt tiles, this is still an incredibly expensive, time-consuming process. However, I'm convinced there's something in the catalog that will help this along. I'm sure there's someone out there just screaming at their screen because I'm missing something completely obvious. But you may be asking, why would you do this? Why would anybody do this? Well, except for Gregory. This is all an attempt to challenge what is normally done in this game. Yes, we can absolutely build a house on flat land and still make it look awesome, but there's an element of satisfaction when it comes to going off and creating what you want. It's a way to test yourself and to surprise people, or to surprise yourself. I doubt I'm the first to try this, but, you know, finding ways to do something different than what's expected is what I find special in the creative process. A lot of people seem to fixate on the details of the house in, you know, learning how to build, design, and refine. But I think just as important as all of that is the frame. Terrain will frame your house in a wonderful way. Whether you build it on a hill or a valley, as a high rise or a cardboard box, playing with that elevation can really help you along. Besides, it opens up your opportunities, so why not try it out? But obviously don't try this. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. It's a grueling process. I much prefer how we did elevation on our city plot, though you lose out on the max height a little bit. But even then, I can't imagine it as a flat base. It just works so much better as it steps in elevation. Here, it was done using flat roofs brought to the correct elevation, which was incredibly quick and easy. But ultimately, even though this didn't go as planned, I actually hoped to get a lot more done than I did. I'm still glad I tried it. For now, I'm going to call this terrain method bad. Don't try it. No. I'm going to call this terrain method no. The hope is that this game gets a terrain overhaul down the road, but we'll see. Anyways, thank you for watching. See you later.